Wild Camping Adam here, and in this video I'm going to be learning how to sharpen my axe. I've only used my axe a couple of times in the videos and I've not used it much outside of them. However, I do think it's really important for me to learn how to take care of them. I've always kind of known that you need to take care of your tools, but I've never really known how properly. My axe is kind of the thing that needs the most attention because it's a sharp object, and obviously you need to take care of the edge. So the very most of the research that I've done was watching a coal cracker bushcraft video on YouTube, so that can kind of explain to you how much I actually know about taking care of this. Now what I got from Cole's video was, it can be important if you don't have any sort of power tools like a belt sander or other sharpening tools for your axe, to use one of these, a sharpening puck. Now these have two fine grains of stone on either side. The red side is the rougher side. I can't actually remember what grit. So what I picked up from Cole's video is that the red side is meant for all the kind of bumpy, nasty dents that are on your edge. And then once you've gotten them out on both sides and you've got a fairly decent edge, you switch to the white side where you actually refine the sharpness of the edge. I'm not confident that there's any other step to the process, so I'm going to do a little more research before I start. Well, I was just about to do some research and I found out that the Outdoor Boys channel isn't going to be posting for the foreseeable future. The video that Luke posted called Goodbye just came out 29 minutes ago. Luke in the Outdoor Boys channel was the whole reason that I got into wild camping and even making these videos. You know, I've heavily leaned on Luke's format when it comes to his intro style and kind of filming the videos. He's been my role model in the whole content creation scene. That's kind of a good point to lean on right now, is why am I making these videos? I really enjoy being outdoors, and making videos is something that I also really enjoy. I want to turn this channel and making these videos into something that can sustain a living for me and my future family, and it does make me think about the repercussions of doing this, and if the channel does grow to an extent that makes it hard to live a normal life, that's kind of concerning. But you know, for now, at the size that I'm at, I'm currently sitting at 1800 subscribers, and my most viewed video is a beginner's guide that's sitting at about 51,000 views. And while I don't think I'm anywhere near the scale that Luke's channel is, and I'm not sure that I'll ever get there, I want to make videos and I enjoy it, and that's why I'm doing it. And a very important part of that is I don't want to be doing some sort of job that doesn't mean anything to me or doesn't contribute any sort of positive impact to me and my family other than the income. I think, to simplify my point, I don't want to go out and work in a cafe or in a warehouse, because that's not what I'm suited for. I want to make videos like these about camping and being outdoors, and I enjoy different things, and I would much rather make an income from things that I enjoy rather than an income from something that is actually a detriment to me and my family. I think another point of conversation for me as well is the fact that I'm based in the UK. You know, Luke's based over in Alaska, and I think there's a much larger audience for the videos that he makes compared to the sort of wild camping that we do here, especially when it's leaving no trace. Now while it's sad that Luke's backing away, it's understandable and it makes sense. You know, he's doing the right thing, prioritising his family and what they need and their concerns about their future lives. Anyways, I've got an axe to sharpen. So I've had a little watch at Coal Cracker Bushcraft video again, which, just to be very clear, I'll link up above and in the description, because he does a fantastic job at explaining all of this. One of the main things that he explained is it's best to get your puck wet before you use it. Cole says in his video that he prefers his axe to be completely razor sharp. Mine is as dull as a bad kitchen knife, so we'll see what we can do with this puck. That is already feeling quite a bit sharper, even though I've only went over it quite a few times. It's not quite sharp enough to shave my nail, but I think we'll get there. I'm noticing that as I'm sharpening it, this bottom edge, the little corner here, is a lot sharper than the one up the top. I can see a little bit of a dent right in the top corner here. I'm going to try and work that out using the finer side of the stone, but if it doesn't come out, I'll switch over to the rougher side and I'll try and just hone that whole side of the blade, because it does look quite a bit thicker than the bottom end. This top corner's getting a little bit sharper with that finer grain, so I think it's working. I'm also noticing when I'm running my finger along the blade, there's a fine line of metal shavings that are getting left, so I think I'm managing to keep the edge relatively straight, which is a good sign. I wouldn't make a cup of tea with that water. I'm noticing that when I go quite quick and I'm not going slow and being gentle, I'm blunting the whole blade. I end up ruining the edge that I've just made. And it feels as though, the weird thing is when you're going slow, it does really feel like you're not doing much. But that seems to be the much more efficient way to do it. Go slow and focus on little parts of the blade at a time, rather than the whole blade quickly. I suppose that's a metaphor for life, innit? Because there's often a catch when you do it quickly all at once. Gradually, I'm getting the edge to a point where it's quite sharp when I run my finger over it. Although I'm finding again this top end is more duller than the bottom end. Same with the corner. This corner's a lot sharper. It's got a nice prick to it, but this one's just quite dull and doesn't feel as sore when I put my palm on it. So I think this top end still needs a lot more work than that bottom end. I think we've got a nice sharpness on this edge now. This little end here, around about there, I'm going to do that just a tiny little touch, and then we'll try cutting some wood. Right, it's not exactly razor sharp, but I'm pretty confident I've got a nice edge on that axe, especially for this being basically my first time using it. I'm going to try and find some dead wood that's lying on the ground. I think I see some over there. So I'm going to do 2 tests with the axe. I'm going to do a simple cutting a small stick in half, and then I'm going to try some batoning to see how well that edge does. The biggest thing I'm noticing already is I'm able to cut through this with a lot less effort, not having to try as hard as I have before when the edge has been quite dull. That cuts pretty damn well. Test 2, batoning. That seems a lot better. You can see, really decent split. It's not halfway, but that's down to my technique. And it only gets easier. As for the wood that I've cut, I'm going to try and spread it evenly around the area. That means it's a little bit more natural than just a pile of wood that's been chopped up. Well folks, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more like it, consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell so you get notified every time I upload. I'm Wild Camping Adam, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.